It is April 30th, 1945. Berlin has been reduced to ash and rubble. The once sprawling capital of the Nazi Empire is unrecognizable, its streets choked with the debris of a collapsing regime. The Soviet army is advancing rapidly through this wreckage. Their tanks are less than a kilometer away from the absolute center of German command. Above ground, General Helmuth Weidling, the commander of the Berlin defense area, navigates the chaotic streets. He is carrying a drafted order that could save the lives of tens of thousands of remaining soldiers. But to deliver this life-saving message, Weidling cannot simply walk into a standard military headquarters. He has to descend into a heavily fortified subterranean complex, a buried city entirely sealed off from the dying reality above it. This cross-section shows the underground complex. The upper level is encased in massive protection, a concrete ceiling 9 feet thick, and a floor sinking 8 feet deep. Sealed off from the outside world, huge purification systems run continuously to block chemical attacks. The conditions below ground are incredibly grim. The massive structure was built directly below the city's water table, forcing loud generators to work non-stop to fight back the damp air and creeping mold that threaten the lower levels. Yet amidst this harsh mechanical environment, a strange domestic life goes on. Joseph Goebbels, the chief of propaganda, lives in tight, cramped quarters right next to the guards, along with his wife and 6 young children. The architectural engineering designed to keep bombs out has created a suffocating environment. The inhabitants are perfectly protected, but entirely trapped with their own rising panic. General Weidling clears the final layer of intense security, stepping into the deepest section of the complex, the Führer bunker. This is where Adolf Hitler spends his final days. The dictator's personal quarters are remarkably modest, but they reveal a deteriorating mind. He keeps an oxygen tank nearby due to an intense fear of suffocating, and hanging on the wall is a large portrait of his hero, Frederick the Great. Hitler has just suffered a severe psychological blow. He recently learned from a radio broadcast that Heinrich Himmler, the architect of the Holocaust, has been secretly attempting to negotiate a peace treaty with the Allies. With paranoia and treachery reaching a boiling point, Hitler's trusted secretary, Martin Bormann, hastily convenes the remaining leadership. They gather in a stark metal conference area known as the Map Room to hear Weidling's urgent news. This room operates as a complete information vacuum, trapped deep under thick concrete, isolated from the front lines, and reeling from internal betrayals. The High Command violently reject any facts that contradict their worldview. Weidling lays his map on the cold metal table and delivers his report. Berlin has almost no soldiers left. Airdrops have completely failed. Ammunition will run out within hours. He immediately offers a tactical solution. Weidling has drafted a comprehensive escape plan for the remaining troops to break out of the city. All he needs is a single signature to initiate the retreat and save thousands of lives. Hitler stares blindly at an outdated map and refuses to sign. Completely detached from reality, he insists that generals stationed outside the city will somehow deliver a decisive counterblow against the Soviets, a military force that simply does not exist. Goebbels immediately backs up this fantasy, telling Weidling that the escape plan is a delusion and the Führer cannot simply run away. The decision is made. The remaining defenders are ordered to hold their ground. In his final assessment of the catastrophic death toll, Hitler coldly remarks, "That's what young people are for." The absolute authority of the High Command has eroded into pure madness, willing to sacrifice tens of thousands of lives to sustain an illusion. Less than 40 hours after rejecting Weidling's desperate plea, Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun are found dead in their living quarters. Their bodies are dragged up the emergency stairs into the Reich Chancellery garden. With resources completely exhausted, SS guards dump them into a shell crater, siphon gasoline from abandoned cars, and set the remains on fire. The command structure completely implodes. Joseph Goebbels and his wife Magda poison their 6 innocent children before taking their own lives. By May 2nd, General Weidling finally issues the order for the last defenders of Berlin to lay down their arms. In the post-war years, Soviet and East German forces attempt to completely erase the subterranean complex, blowing up the massive concrete walls and burying the dismantled ruins deep underground. The man responsible for the systematic murder of 6 million Jews, millions of Soviet prisoners, and the devastation of the European continent was left with no monument. Today, the space directly above the Führer bunker is just a quiet, unmarked parking lot surrounded entirely by ordinary residential apartments.